this is on screen, off screen. Thank you, anybody who is listening and or watching. Thanks to any of our subscribers. Super appreciate you guys. Let's get started with your first topic.
All right. My first topic is going to be Reacher Season 3. I finished it, and this season is way, way better than Season 2. Um, I enjoyed this season of Reacher. The story is more cohesive. It's more of a separate story, so you're just enjoying Reacher and you're doing these new characters. The plot doesn't feel like it has as many holes. I enjoy all of the characters. The action set pieces are really good. You feel the danger for Reacher and for our main characters with the crime boss mechanic that's going on throughout the show. Basically, Reacher is hunting down somebody that killed one of his old partners, and so he has to go undercover as the main security agent for this gun running smuggler type character. And he does that through the son and a very creative, clever way of gaining the son's trust. It's well written and well done. There is another person who is hired by this gun runner who is ginormous. In real life, he's 7'7" and he's a professional bodybuilder, like absolutely massive. And the entire show, you know that they're going to get into a fight. You know this is going to happen. It's just going to go down. And they do get into a fight, and it's freaking awesome. It's really well done. When you're fighting somebody who's that much bigger than you have to stay really close to them, and you use elbows because they have so much more reach than you, and they actually choreograph that into the fight scenes. They have them really close together. They have Reacher using his elbows. They do smart things with the fight that I really, really appreciated. Um, and they add a little bit of Hollywood magic to it, to where it's a little bit over exaggerated and a little bit like 80s big men fighting each other, which makes it a lot more awesome. It's just a good time. It's well done. The thing I didn't like about this season is there is a girl who is in the FBI. She's in one of the three-letter programs, and she is trying to save a girl who's gotten kidnapped, who works with her from this organization. It's been 6 months. She's trying to keep her alive. Reacher and her work together to try to take these people down and save this woman who's been kidnapped. There's a relationship that forms between these two characters, and the relationship is the most shoehorned into a show relationship I've ever seen. There is no indication that they have any kind of chemistry. There's nothing, and all of a sudden they're making out, and it's just stupid. It doesn't help the show at all. It takes away from the show. It takes away from the story. It's dumb. They should have left it out. Other than that, this season is very worth watching, and I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot.
That's good. So you said better than season two. What about season one? How does it compare?
It's a little bit under season one. I think season one is a great season of television. I think this is a very good season of television. That's about where I would put it. I would give this season a 7.5, maybe a little higher, because I would rewatch this. Where season one I have rewatched just because I wanted to. And I don't know if I'd be that way with this season. Season two I won't rewatch. I don't really care to.
I never even
That's
finished season two, so
okay.
yeah,
I thought it was worth finishing, but that's about it. I don't care about watching it again. This season is much better. Also, with the fight with the really big guy, the 7'7" guy, um, they tried to make it as realistic as possible. And Reacher, who's not a small dude, he's a big guy, got hit so hard it broke ribs and got knocked unconscious while they were filming this fight. Like that's how hard they went, and it's awesome. I would watch this show just because that fight is awesome. But the rest of it ended up being good too. There's some, if I get into spoilers, there are some little nitpicks here and there that are kind of like, that's kind of dumb. Like there's a scene in the last episode where the son that Reacher is kind of protecting and gets close to in this organization, the dad and the son are reconnecting, and the dad is in a rough spot because he has to perform, or these gun smugglers will take him out. He decides not to do that anymore. The cop that was assigned to protect the son gets in contact with the son, but then all of a sudden he just goes missing. And if he didn't go missing, then the father never dies. And there's no reason that he's gone missing. It doesn't make sense that he's gone missing, but for some reason he just kind of disappears. There's little things like that that do take it down some, but I still think it's a really fun ride and worth checking out. All right, Josh. With that, let's go to your first one. What in the world is Happy Face?
Happy Face is a dramatized version of a true crime podcast, I guess you would say.
Okay. Okay.
So it's based on a real serial killer, a Happy Face killer. He's based in Oregon. He killed 8 people. Um, this follows the point of view of his daughter.
All right.
And in the show, um, he reveals that he killed a 9th person, but will only do it upon to his daughter. He will only reveal this to his daughter. In reality, there was no 9th kill. He didn't kill 9 people. Um, this is all just drama for the show. However, in reality, she did go back and meet him. She has seen him 2 times since he was incarcerated, and he is still alive and in jail today. And
Okay.
she really did go see him. She went to go see him when she introduced her kids to him in real life. In the show, it's a plot point that she kept his identity a secret for obvious reasons, and they do a really good job of telling the story of like, hey, you don't want to be known as the serial killer's grandchild, so we were protecting you from that. And I don't want to be known as the serial killer's daughter, because I don't want to be identified as that or thought of as the same as him. And she even has this moment of like, am I the same as him? And it's performed so good. My only real criticism of this show is that Dennis Quaid, Disney's dad, is the serial killer. And that's just weird for me to see because, like, I watched Parent Trap as a kid. I had 2
So did
sisters.
I.
It was not a rare watch for us, it was kind of on quite frequently. And it's weird to see him play a serial killer and play it so well. He does such a great job with his portrayal of this. So that is my only real criticism of the show so far. I've only seen the first 3 episodes. I think there's 4 or 5 out now. Um, and I was not expecting to love this show as much as I was. I basically turned it on as kind of like, oh, why not? I've got some time. And it turned into, I need to watch the next episode. I need to watch the next episode. Like, I have the text chain. I was texting Lauren and I said, hey, should I keep watching this show or should I go play games with friends? Because my Star Citizen group was like, hey, come on, let's play Star Citizen. And she was like, well, are you liking the show? And I was like, well, it's kind of already started. I don't really know if I like it or not. She's like, well, do you want to turn it off? And I was like, well, no, there's nothing bad about it. Should I go play a game or do this? And it very well turned into I'll finish the first episode and see how I feel.
Okay.
Finish the first episode. Don't care what happened in gaming that day because I just jumped into the second episode. I was hooked. I was like, I'm not a true crime podcast person. That is not my cup of tea. The closest I get is sometimes I will watch Mr. Ballin episodes, which is a little different.
It is.
And sometimes I watch lore, which is also, or listen to lore, which is also different. not big on this whole like the most hype for something I had been for something like this is the Zac Efron, whatever his name is, serial
Ted
killer,
Bundy show.
Ted Bundy show. And when that came out, I watched it and I was like, that was stupid.
It wasn't very good.
What
I
a
was
waste
super
of my
super excited for
time.
that one too.
I can't believe I watched that crap. This one, I knew it was based on a true story. I knew it was about a serial killer. And that's it. I didn't even know Quaid was even in it. But I saw a trailer for it on TikTok, and I was like, the main actress is somebody I sort of recognize that I like. Um, Annalie Ashford.
She does look familiar from something. I just don't know
Yeah.
what.
She's familiar. I don't know what from either. She's in Legally Blonde. I don't know what role she has in it. Anyway, she's been in a few things, but I don't necessarily recognize her. But I was like, sure. Um, anyway, turned it on. Absolutely loved it. I'm so excited for the rest of season one. I hope it's not going to be more than one season.
She's in Unbelievable, and if you haven't seen that, it's great. It's another uh a girl. Have you seen Unbelievable at all? Okay.
Not off the top of my head.
High recommendation for everybody. Um there's a girl and she gets sexually assaulted and she gets accused of lying about her sexual assault. And it is extremely well done. Like extremely. I have a friend who went through sexual assault and a lot of the situations this girl goes through with the police are very very similar to my friend's experience. Very similar. It's great. Great show. She does a good job in that. Anyway, keep going. Cut you
Oh,
off.
is that the one with uh, where the main girl is the what's that other show called? Tim Allen show. Daughter.
Oh, I think that's her. Yeah, I think so.
Caitlin Denver.
Yeah, that's her. That's her.
Yeah, no, I've seen this show. This show had never made me want to be a cop more in my life. We've talked about that.
Really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
because of it was so real. And while I personally not gone through that, uh, I do know people. And after I watched Unbelievable, I was like, I want to be there so that nobody ever has to experience that ever again. So I really wanted to be a cop after that. But
That's really cool, man. Because yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
yeah,
Anyway,
it's very well
um,
done. But anyway, yeah.
happy face.
3 episodes in. If you like true crime podcast, this is your show. Plain and simple. This is your show. It feels like a true crime podcast. It's based off of the daughter's book, and being the happy face killer's daughter, and they take liberties in it. Absolutely, they do. But they're also believable, and the writing is so good, and the performances are so great. Like, I am not a true crime podcast person at all. I don't like spotlighting this dark place in humanity. I don't watch the news because it's too depressing. I don't like focusing on this like dark corner of humanity. And yet, I think the best thing about this show is that I'm a person who's saying this is fantastic. It's done so well. Watch this show.
Okay, I will give that a shot. I'm gonna give that one a try. That sounds interesting to me.
Oh,
That
good one.
that sounds really interesting to me.
Okay. I'm going to jump on to my next topic. Uh,
Okay.
Following the end of season 1 of American Idol, Kelly Clarkson and runner-up Justin, I'm gonna butcher the last name, Giardini, Giardini, I don't know, starred in a romantic comedy musical movie called From Justin to Kelly. I had never
Okay.
heard of this before.
Me either.
Never heard of it. And like a month ago, I saw a TikTok that was talking about the first season of American Idol, and the video was actually just talking about like the problems of American Idol, but it brought up
Mhm.
Justin and Kelly Clarkson and brought up this movie From Justin to Kelly, and I was like, why have I never ever heard of this movie before? My family was an American Idol family. We
Mine
watched
too.
it pretty religiously up until the Davids. After that, not
Me
so
too.
much. But like up until that point, we were avid watchers. Every time it was on, we were watching this show. Um, so like, why had I never heard of it? And I looked it up, and it had an IMDb score of 1.9 out of 10. That is the lowest score I have ever seen. The tomato meter on it is 8%. Also the
That's
lowest
really
score
bad.
I've ever seen. The popcorn meter, so the audience score, was 39%, which is not the lowest I've ever seen. Bub pretty freaking low. Now, the closest comparison to like what you can expect from this I can think of is High School Musical.
Okay.
High School Musical has a 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb. Still not great, but a lot better than 1.9 out of 10. Has a 67 tomato meter and a 74 popcorn meter. Now, let me tell you, this movie's great. It genuinely is. Everyone is wrong about this movie.
Okay.
So, the songs are really good. The
You
acting
could
is
paired
pretty
it to
good.
how I to the comparison you made is not really great, man.
What do you mean?
I mean, High School Musical is not a great movie, and I can't imagine something that's close to that being great.
I mean the type of movie. That's what I mean, type.
Okay, okay,
So
okay,
it's filmed like High School Musical was. It kind of
okay,
feels like High School Musical, where they kind of just like break out into song suddenly, and the whole crowd gets into it, and there's this whole choreographed dance. That's what I mean, right? It's not like a
okay,
traditional musical where you kind of know everybody's in on it. It's, it's kind of like High School Musical, where kind of like everybody kind of gets in on it, and you're like, what even is this high school? This is the same kind of thing, except
okay,
in this example, it's a little bit worse. So, right, there's a scene where Justin and Kelly meet each other for the first time, and the crowd breaks out into a dance. But there's like this cluster of like 20 people in the middle of them who I think didn't get the memo or just couldn't dance. So they were just doing like this shimmy thing. You know, the thing you do at like the stake dances for the kids who didn't know how to dance. How they kind of like, oh yeah, I'm participating. While everybody around them is doing like this elaborate dance number. Uh, that was not great, but it's kind of like that kind of show. That's what I mean. It's not like the same quality of show. I'm not saying it's that
it's
at
that
all.
kind of
I'm not
show.
saying if you like High School Musical, you're gonna like this, right? Like I'm not saying that at all. It's just like if you're going into a musical, you're going into a musical, and this kind of like the same budget, the same kind of feeling, that kind of way. If that makes any sense at all.
That
Um,
does.
Anyway, so I was like, I don't know why I've never heard of this before. It seems like it should be a bigger thing. You know, I hate High School Musical. I will never watch it again a day in my life. The only time I've been tempted to watch it again is occasionally it pops up as a point of conversation and about how somebody loves it or whatever and how it's so fundamental to their childhood. I've been like, maybe as an adult, I should give it another chance, and maybe I'll have like this nostalgia thing, or maybe I'll see something in it I didn't see before. But I never actually do it. That show's crap. Okay, this is a musical movie. It's a musical. Um,
Mhm.
Kelly Clarkson does a great job. Justin is a phenomenal singer, and I feel so bad for the guy because if he didn't go up against the greatest vocalist of our entire life, he probably would have won and would like I looked it up. He's had two albums released and they were both in 2005. So he's done nothing since, right? And I'm like, "Oh man, poor guy cuz he's got a great voice and he just happened to go up against Kelly Clarkson,
Kelly Clarkson.
which to
That
me
sucks.
is the greatest vocalist of our generation and possibly ever.
She's up there. She's very, very good.
She's
She's very,
so
very, very
freaking
good.
good. It's amazing. And anyway, so they start in this romantic comedy show together, this romantic comedy musical. Uh, it has the same kind of early 2000s drama where you have three people, and girl A and girl B, or girl A and boy, start flirting with each other, and girl B only likes guy because girl A likes him, right? Except they have done that plot in this movie better than I have ever seen it.
Ever?
Ever.
I don't believe it. That's no way.
I
There's
will stand
no
on this hill.
way.
And here is why. Okay. So in
Okay.
every single portrayal of that plot that I've seen, girl A is a great friend. She's a great person. She's a go getter. She's got all of these things going. And she's, like I said, she's a great friend.
Yeah.
Right. And girl B is jealous of her because she's so successful and she gets all the guys and blah, 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 whatever. Right.
Mhm.
In this version, girl A is Kelly Clarkson. Girl B is an actress you would probably recognize. I was actually surprised how many people were in this movie. Princess Tiana, for example, from
Hmm.
Princess and the Frog, is in this movie. It was like her breakout performance thing.
That's cool.
Anyway, um, girl B in the situation, she's this blonde girl. I don't remember who the actress is or what I know her from, but she wants Justin because she's jealous of Kelly Clarkson. But Kelly Clarkson doesn't get all the guys.
Hmm.
She's kind of a loser in real life, and the her friends, the blonde girl and the Princess Tiana girl, have to like coax her to come to spring break where this thing takes place. And Guy is not perfect Prince Charming, right? Like the big plot there is like he founded this company where he would make money throwing parties and whipped cream bikini contests and this kind of things and the other. And Kelly Clarkson is, of course, appalled by this gross displaying of men things and XYZ whatever. And she's not a good friend. There is not a
Okay.
single scene in this show where Kelly Clarkson is actually a good friend to Blonde Girl, so it makes complete sense why Blonde Girl would be jealous of her getting attention from this guy, and why she would be morally okay with stabbing her friend in the back, end quote, because and going after this guy because everything Kelly Clarkson says to this friend is, "You're a basic party girl, and nobody's ever gonna really like you for who you are."
That's better. That is better.
And so it makes it a much more interesting dynamic, and it's so much better. And I fully admit it could have been my expectations going into this, seeing that it was a 1.9 out of 10 on IMDb
That's really
and an
bad.
8% on Rotten Tomatoes. But, like, genuinely, would I rather watch this or any of the High School Musicals? Absolutely, hands down, not even close.
All right. All right.
Like, it's
I
genuinely a really good kind of musical early 2000s flick. Does it have problems? Absolutely. Is it wrapped up well? No, it's not. Because basically, the blonde friend who's treated like crap through the entire show comes back and is like, I'm sorry I was a bad friend. I made it up to you by fixing the problem. And then leaves.
And that's
I'm
it.
like, no, Kelly Clarkson was a terrible person to you. Why would you just. You should emotionally be mature enough to be like, you're not good for me.
Okay.
Like,
Um
it's not perfect. I'm not saying it's a 10 out of 10. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was pleasantly surprised. And I would watch this movie again.
what would you rate it?
7 out of 10.
Wow. Okay. I kind of have to watch this because there's a 1.9. That's really bad.
Yeah.
And I was reading through some of the reviews while you were talking, and they sound atrocious. Like it sounds terrible. Um, I'm gonna watch this week. Everybody who's watching, I'm going to watch this week and tell you what I think, because yeah, it sounds pretty rough.
It is rough. I am, like I said, don't expect it flawless plot wise, because it's not flawless. It's got a lot of issues. It was clearly thrown together at the end of season 1 of American Idol, and they kind of just like threw it out there, right? Like, far from perfect,
Okay.
far from it. Like I said, choreography is not great because, like I said, it feels like some of the people on screen did not get the memo, or they couldn't get enough actual dancers to do it, so they were like, "Hey, just do the shoulder thing, so you can pretend you're dancing, while the real dancers do the actual performing." Right? It's not perfect. All of the characters have holes and has issues and whatever. But in terms of enjoyment, right? Like, you were talking about the Indian version of Cinderella, right?
Yeah.
And you were like, it wasn't perfect, but I enjoyed it enough.
Yeah.
Right? That is a similar thing where it's like, I know it has issues. I'm not blind to the issues,
But it was enjoyable enough.
but it was enjoyable enough. And I think 1.9 out of 10 is incredibly harsh on a movie that is clearly better than what its closest comparison would be.
Okay. Yeah, I'll watch it this week. I'll watch it this week. All right, guys. With that, we'll go to something a little different again. Um, Solo Leveling. This season is awesome. The last couple episodes were awesome, and I get like we talked about it a little bit before, and he's going to talk about this where he's fine with not having it anymore till 2027. I am
After,
also fine with that after 2027. I would be fine if the show was over. Like I liked the ending of this show, and if it was just the end and it was just these 2 seasons, I would be 100% satisfied. I really liked the end of this. Thought it was really, really good. And just epic. Like the way he ends it is epic. It just feels awesome. It matches the rest of the show. What did you think, Josh?
I'm right there with you. My exact comment is season 3 will be a change of pace in the plot. To be honest, if the show ended here, I'd be okay with that, even with those loose ends that still remain. After the
Yeah,
finale, I'm okay with them taking their time for season 3.
literally, I thought it was so good that I kind of even don't want a season 3 because I don't want it to be worse. And it's just such a good, epic, full story. Like it has a full arc. The arc is done. The island's at the beginning of the arc. The island is completed. Like it's just complete and good. And I would be totally fine
It's not
if
just
it.
complete, right? So the main character's dad is a very well established character, and there are a lot of loose ends with him. And they very much alluded to that in the very last scene of the show,
They did,
right? So it's not 100% complete. And
but
your
it's
wish
mostly complete.
that they just ended is not going to happen because it's kind of signed on for games. It's a season 3 through 7 or 6.
Oh, that many seasons? Holy
Yeah,
crap.
it's been greenlit for that. There's like a movie that's been greenlit. Like, it's a big thing. It's becoming a lot more than just an anime at this point. It's
People
a
love this show.
movie, and they're talking about live action adaptations and games and everything. So my thing is like, okay, season 1 and 2 are great, and in
Yeah.
terms of like the main character and the island, that is a complete plot and a complete story. So even if season 3 sucks, it's gonna be a jump in time. It's gonna be a jump in pace. It's gonna be an entirely different show. So call it season 3 or call it Solo Leveling Reawakened season 1, right?
Something like that,
It's
yeah.
gonna be along those lines, and it really won't matter to me how good it is because I can still just enjoy season 1 and season 2 perfectly well without it. Um, I found out that so I had 4 episodes to watch this week
Yeah.
to be completely caught up from when we last talked about it. After I watched 1 episode, I found out that season 3 wouldn't be until after 2027. And I was like, oh man, like there's so much more that they could do. And here's why I thought that there was so much more. I forgot about his swap skill.
Oh, you did? Okay, I
Yeah,
remembered
so I
that.
thought there was going to be a whole episode based around him getting to the island and like them calling on him and then being like, "We need your help. There's no one else who can do this. You know, you're our last hope." I thought that was going to be a whole big thing. Um, but I forgot about the swap skill, and I like him having the knights hide in the shadows of the other S level things, watching over them, was genius. I
Yes,
was
it
like,
was.
oh my gosh, I knew he could do that, but like to that level, I had no idea, and that was freaking awesome. And I love this show.
Me
Genuine,
too.
I absolutely love this show. It's lit RPG, the show, in the best way possible. Uh, all the characters are so good, and like I'm still very excited for season 3. Um, there's still the loose ends of the girl who's in a coma. There's still the healer girl. There's still the fallout with the island. There's still the grander universe that they've built up. There's still his father. There's still enough that I'm curious about. I'm just okay with them taking their time to get it right, and that's what I'm hoping this is. I'm hoping
I
that
hope they
they're
do
like,
that
okay,
too.
we didn't know if we were going to get a season 3, so we tied it up. We got season 3, so now we're going to take our time to do it right and be accurate to the book.
I hope they can make the power leveling still feel satisfying. Um, without just becoming corny. Because you have those other characters that obviously are integrated into the system like he is. Somehow, you don't know exactly how. And they're going to fight, and there's going to be something more large, universal scale with whatever people are inside of the system. Like that's going to happen. I hope it feels satisfying instead of just like, oh, we need to keep this going, so we're going to keep this going, kind of a deal.
Well, the
I
book goes on quite a bit further into it. So if you want to know what plot they're going to follow, because they've generally followed the book really well, read it.
It's a good point. I've
Right?
really
Like,
never read manga ever.
it's not manga.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
No, it's whatever the Chinese version of it is. Manga is specified as the Japanese version.
But
Is
same kind
Waha,
of thing.
but it is a similar. It's a comic style storytelling.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. Maybe I'll try it because I'd be interested. I hope they can make it good. I hope.
I hope
But
they can too.
they've done a good
Right?
job with these 2 seasons. They've done a good job.
Yeah. And here's the last part I really, really wanted to talk about
Yeah.
the show. The music. I know I was just glowing about
It's
the size
so
of the
bad
music.
ass.
It is. Uh, whoever wrote the music for this show needs to be signed by a label because they're the new Green Day.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point.
All I could think about was how epic the music felt in Transformers because of Green Day.
Yeah, that's a really good point, man. That's an awesome point because Transformers 100%. You think about the songs and you think about the scenes in Transformers because of those songs. And I do the same thing with the show.
Yeah, and not just like because the scenes tie to the music so well, because the music make the scenes feel epic.
They do.
So
It
the
does.
song
It does.
Dark Aria is my favorite from the show, and they've used it twice. And the first time it was in the cave when the group was trying to kill the main character, and the main character got the kill people prompt for the first time. And it just was like cuts off the guy's head, and then the vocalist is like, "Death is gonna come for me," or whatever the line is, and it just boom, and it just hits so heavy and so hard, and like, holy crap! After this show, this is the second time this has ever happened to me with an anime, and the first one was Your Lie in April, and I was like, I'm just gonna listen to that music. That was so good. That made me appreciate that music. Now it's not to that extent because I already kind of liked the rock music, but I was like, I'm not gonna listen to this soundtrack. Holy freaking crap, this is so good. And I was sitting at work like, man, I feel so awesome. It's so cool. And it was just like, if you want to work out, turn on some Solo Leveling soundtrack, which sounds stupid, but you're just gonna feel awesome while doing
Yeah.
it. And yeah, sure, mix in some Green Day because that's just like the best way to work out I could possibly think of.
I I completely it's awesome. I completely agree. After season 2 was over, I was watching the end credits and they just have animations going on from the show that you've already seen before, but the music's in the background. You're just like, "This is awesome." And I just sat there and watched it because the music was awesome. It just feels epic. They did a good job with it. Like a really really good job.
And not
I've
just like in general too. Like
yeah.
the music when it needs to hit hard, hits hard.
Yep.
Right? They do a good job with the timing of the music as well as
Very good
the
job with the
music.
timing of music. I would listen to this album. I have done that with Attack on Titan before because some of those songs slap.
I
Slap
really
hard.
like the theme song from the second half of season 1. But
It's
other
awesome.
than that, I didn't really love as much from that. Like
Oh,
it's good
I'll
for the show, but it's not like
oh,
awesome. Listen to this kind of thing for me.
there were a couple songs for me with Attack on Titan that did do that. Where I was just like, that is so good. But Solo Leveling, it's like every song is just they just slap all of them. All of them.
Well, most of it is instrumental,
Yeah.
but it's like awesome instrumental. Uh, Instead of Interstellar working, listening to it while you're studying, this would be your instrumental listen to while you're working out. That's what I think.
Yeah. And I like the epic instrumental stuff, and this just fits in. I'm sure I'll add this to a workout playlist. I'm positive.
I already have with Dark Aria. I cannot tell you how much I love that song. It is so good. And both
Oh,
times it plays in the show that I know of, maybe it plays a few more times, I don't know. But both times in the show, I'm like, this is so cool. This is so awesome. I love this song. I love how it's timed with it. In the first one, it's like every time there's like a hard beat in the music, he's killing a person in the
I
like
know.
epic way where it's like boom, say a line, boom, say a line, boom. And it's like, oh my gosh, this guy is so badass.
So did you like season 1 or season 2 better?
Season 1.
Okay, I did too.
Yeah.
I
I
did too.
actually think it's a mistake to make him have changed so much appearance wise. Um,
Really? Okay,
yeah,
I didn't have a problem with that.
he basically goes from like a 5'6" little weenie to like a 6'10" giant presence, and it's like, you know, it would be one thing if a 20-something-year-old just bulked up a little bit, but to have him overnight turn to grow 2 feet and also bulk up, you'd be like, okay, what kind of drugs is this dude taking? Because holy crap.
It would have been interesting if they kept him short and that kind of made people look down on him a little bit or not expect what he's capable of. The bulking out I didn't really have a problem with. I looked at other S grades and other S grades are like twice the size of him. He's bigger than season one, but he's not huge.
He is huge.
Not in comparison to these other S grades. Not at
But
all.
those S grades were always huge.
That's true. He's big in comparison to what he was before. He's not a huge guy for the power level that he has.
It's still just like a big change for a person. And I get that it's an anime, but like I actually really like his character art and feel like he's more generic of a anime character once he's booked out and changed. So I'm
Okay.
not a big fan of that part of it either. Um, I also think it would have let him hide in the shadows, quote metaphorically, in the community more if he wasn't doing such a drastic change um, physically. So I don't know. We'll see with season three. Like that's honestly just a nitpick. Like not a big deal at all. Doesn't ruin the show at all. Doesn't do any of that, right? And like the content that's coming out of the show, not about the show. I don't know if you've seen it, but the English voice actor for the main character did a cut or did a TikTok about what it was like to record his Arise line, and it is so funny.
Really?
Yeah, because basically the director's like, okay, could you tone it down a little bit? And he's like, okay, Arise. And they're like, oh my gosh, freaking do the line, dude. And he's like, no, 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 let me take another shot at it. Arise. And they're like, yes, bitch. And they're like, no, why did you add that? And then he like way overdoes it and is like doing all these different takes and saying the word arise. Or there's one time where he's like, erect. And they're like, what are you doing, dude? That's just weird. And it was so funny. I don't know.
uh,
Like, such great content that came out of that little moment. And like, somebody took that scene and then animated it so the character is doing those lines instead of the voice actor, and it made it even better. And it's like, it's great. I love that little clip thing. If I can find it, I'll send it to you. But
that's awesome. I love this show. I would give it a 9. I would give this show a 9. Like I really liked it. I don't give things 9 very often.
7.5 for me. Like, I love this show. It's not that often that you get a show where you're like, we're gonna talk about From here in a minute. And that shows
Yeah.
like there's so many mysteries, like Attack on Titan. There's so many mysteries you just like want to know what's gonna happen and figure out the puzzle. So that's why you want to watch the next episode. Whereas this one, you're just like so into the plot and the world and the universe, and like
It's just awesome.
it's just awesome. Like I would watch a whole episode just on world building and exposition of this show. Like it's the same kind of feeling where you're just excited to watch the next thing, but in a different way. And
Yeah.
I think that it's so exceptional at that. And like, I love it. What about you? What did you like better, season one or season two?
I like season 1 better. Season 2, besides the fight with the ant, never felt like he was getting pushed completely past his limits and having to evolve and go anyway, which I find just badass and really satisfying. Where season one had multiple times where I'm like, he has to give everything and then find something inside of him that he didn't even know he had. And I'm a sucker for that. And season one is so much of that. And I freaking love it. I freaking love it. Season two didn't. Yeah, yeah. That's really the main difference for me. Is that
Yeah.
aspect.
So, what do you predict for season 3?
That it will, whoever these people are that are already integrated in the system, it will become, there's a bigger boss somewhere out there, and that's where his next hunt's going to be, and he'll get involved with them, and then they'll go and fight on a different plane. That's kind of what I think will happen.
Interesting.
And I'm
I
assuming
predict
the
something different.
okay, what do you think?
I I think it's going to become a whole bigger thing, and I think other people are going to get the player notification and get the ability to grow in power, and he's going to have to mentor them through that. I think you're
That's
going
cool.
to get this like Avengers team up thing where season 3 is going to be about. So like there's the girl character at the very end of season 2 who's like, I have to try and get stronger too,
Yeah,
right? Implying
she's gonna get the.
she's gonna have a way to get stronger too. So I predict that the beginning of season 3 is the revelation that she also had something happen that gave her that ability.
I guess she did almost die like he did.
And kind of a big way.
Yeah,
Yeah, so she's gonna have the interface and everything, and then there's gonna
but
be a couple of other people, and he's gonna be, trying to run his own guild,
hmm,
and he's gonna have these people come in that are like, "Hey, I know you see what I see," and they're gonna have this like mentoring part, and then season
and
4 is gonna be the bigger universe thing,
and
and
then you have a
they
guild
got
of
a
people that are
Avengers
already
team
like
up.
this.
Yep.
And so he's got the guild that just beats the hell out of all other guilds because they have the system and no one else does.
Yep.
And you think it'll be all the way to season 4 before they interact with this larger
Mm-hmm.
system
I
universe
think
thing?
season 3 will get some more taste because like the main character's dad is still on Earth
Yeah,
and is still in that prison uniform, so he's gonna have start to interact with our main character a little bit more. But overall, I think you're just gonna get a little taste there, little thing of like what's to come. And season 3 is gonna end on this cliffhanger of like, is Earth gonna survive because of an alien invasion or like some big cliffhanger thing? And
that
gotta
requires
go from
them
there.
to level up, like the show's called.
Yeah,
Cool. I like that idea. I hope it's good. That's all I'm hoping. I hope it's good.
me too.
All right. With that, let's go to our last topic for this episode from season 2. I like season 2. I think season 2 is good. I think season 2 has some problems. And you mentioned this when we were talking about season 1. They don't talk about anything in the show. Like the what's the character's name? The one who's been there the entire time. He has so many secrets. And the entire time I was like, why don't you ask this guy anything? Anything at all? And finally the tech guy's like asking questions. Wow. Who could have thought that asking questions would be good? Crazy. And Boyd literally never talks about the tower, why, or the spider bites, or anything. And all of these people are all separate. And when you have so few people, you can't afford not to have teams and work as teams and work together. They also bring up the fact that there's no food anymore and that rations are low. When in season 1, I honestly thought that rations just kind of popped up in this world because they have all of this stuff that they couldn't make if they were just agricultural. They wouldn't have the ability to. So I thought it was like a magic. They just had their food provided for them, but that's not the case because now they need to be hungry. And that means that there are supplies issues, but they spend bullets by just shooting them into the sky. If you don't have infinite supplies, you're not just going to waste bullets by shooting them up into the air. Like, who cares? You're not going to do that. That's stupid. Um, those are some of my
Okay,
harsh
let me talk
points
about
on
that a
it.
little bit. So,
Yeah.
in season one, they did establish supplies.
Okay.
So the
I might have missed
community
it.
house, they made the farming part of it when they first
Yeah.
show the community house. The characters are farming, they're gathering food, they're working in a field. Uh, the medical supplies was kind of like the bigger thing, and the doctor lady is very much like, we only get what's brought in here or what we make, right? And in season one, they also established that like we have guns, but we don't waste the bullets unless it's necessary. So like them shooting into the sky has always been like, I need to take attention and control of this situation, which I'm not mad at.
I think it's dumb. I genuinely think it's stupid. I really, really think it's dumb. If you are that low on bullets, you are not going to shoot them in the air. You're just not. Like, it's dumb.
But what else are the bullets gonna be good for? You can't use it against your enemies, and you're not gonna kill each other with them unless you
You
have
might kill each
enough.
other with them. Like, if you've played any survival horror type game, you don't just shoot bullets into the sky because you don't have that many.
You also
Like, if
don't
that's
have
how
a
we're supposed to be
situation
thinking
where a
about this,
bus showed up
no.
and everybody's about to die and everybody's screaming at each other and you have to
Shooting the
shoot.
tire, I don't have a problem with because that has a use. When Boyd goes into the valley or whatever and he shoots into the air because the one lady is tied up to the tree, I'm like, no, you could just be like, dude, put your hands up, and it would accomplish the same thing. You don't have to shoot up into the sky. That's dumb.
I disagree because shooting into the air is very effective and like is a real strategy to quickly gain attention and seriousness.
When
There
you
are a number
have
of times. Hold
basically
on.
all the bullets you want, yeah. Okay.
When you when cops are going to a high stress situation, right? A bullet into the sky is so attention grabbing and sudden that it resets someone's brain, right? They're not gonna continue what they're doing. Whereas when you yell, freeze, put your hands in the air, it's not quite that much, right?
I get that, but they also have basically unlimited bullets.
No, they don't.
They can
They're
go
just
resupply. Like, I get in that situation, you have the bullets that you have, but you are not afraid of, you know what? We have 5 boxes of bullets. Period. That's all we have. I'm going to use one of them to shoot into the sky. No, I just
yeah,
don't. I don't buy it.
yeah, I
Nope.
do.
Not
Yeah,
at all.
absolutely. Because most of the time, you know the people that you're with, and you know what they're doing, and you know what they're capable of. B, you have the box scaring them into doing what they're supposed to be doing, and so you don't need to use bullets on people. They're ineffective against enemies, and guns are used as a means of control.
But you know,
I
there's like
agree with you.
wolves in the forest. There's other options. Like, there are. It's not
They
just
don't
all
go
those
hunting.
vampire things.
They don't go
There's more
hunting.
than just that. But the wolves could attack. Like, there are options. People could actually be aggressive and you might
Wolves
need to
don't
shoot them.
attack.
We have seen people actually be literally violent many different times. And then you shoot them in the face if you have bullets. But if you
No,
don't
you
have
stick them
bullets,
in the
you
box.
can't shoot them in the face. It
You stick
doesn't
them
make
in the box.
any sense.
You stick
None.
them in the box.
That's true. But there's times where you're going to have to shoot somebody.
Not all
Like
the
when
time.
the wife was literally shooting up the town and you had to shoot her in the face. There's times where you're gonna have to shoot somebody, and you need bullets to do it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you have to spare every last bullet for when that could happen, right?
You would be so much more careful with the bullets that you have. So much more careful.
I disagree. Like, I agree with you. The bullets are a bigger thing. in season 2. And it was something I noted as well. But it wasn't like this takes away from it or I don't believe that they would use the bullet in that situation. I feel like the
Oh,
show conjured situations that bullets would be used more often.
okay. Um, that's fine. We disagree on that. That's all right. That's all right. I'm going over the things I didn't really like about the show first, and that one was one for me. The not communicating was one. The fiance character, I actually like the character, but I feel like the drama between the doctor and the fiance feels just like drama to kind of just be drama, which I didn't love, but I like the character. The guy who's paranoid about the whole situation is kind of a jackass this whole season. I thought most of that story was kind of dumb. I didn't like it, especially the dad going along with it when he's seen as much as he's seen, and he's had a house fall on him, and he literally saw one of the creatures eat somebody right next to him. Like he heard that happening. He's seen the bodies. Like he's been involved in this whole situation. I thought the dad going with it was mostly just dumb. Um, was there anything else that I didn't love about this season? Because it oh, the tech guy is not an inept person. I get that he is not the most socially adept, but he's literally looking at a picture of Victor as a child with his lunchbox. And he keeps telling Victor, "Don't you want to go home?" Well, no shit, this is his home. You're looking at a picture of him when he's like 8 and he's been here the entire time. This is obviously his home. You have a brain. You've shown you have a brain. Don't be this moronic. And then Victor, towards the end of the show, says, "This is my home," when he's asked that same question again. No, duh. Of course, this is his home. I thought that was stupid too. What I liked about the season, I thought at first I didn't like the Freddy Krueger kills in your sleep thing. I thought I wouldn't enjoy that. I think they did a very good job of implementing that. And in the end, it became a positive for me. I thought the killing of one of the Night Stalker people was very interesting, very well done. I liked how that connected to the Freddy Krueger killing ballerina thing, and it built upon the mystery. I thought that was cool. I thought the tech guy going down into the basement and having the kids be in that pattern that matches the symbol that he keeps singing, and the chant that they're singing, very cool. um I thought the mom piecing together that the children might be locked in this tower was well done, very interesting. I think the daughter was really good in this. I liked the relationship aspect with Boyd's kid and the girl. I thought that was really good. Very well done. Um there was a lot of intensity to it. The house falling over scene and them staying over the night was probably my favorite part of this season. I thought that was very chilling, very thrilling. Had me on the edge of my seat the entire time. Really well done. There was a lot of good aspects to this season with a couple of things that I just kind of thought were dumb. Now tell me why I'm wrong, because you've been shaking your head the entire time.
Because I think you're grossly over exaggerating on all of those negatives.
Okay.
So, taking it one at a time,
Yeah.
the father and douchebag guy,
Yeah.
right? Let's talk about the douchebag guy. Are people like that? Yes or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
So why wouldn't there be somebody like that here?
There is a possibility of being somebody like that there.
There's a high
I
point.
don't have a problem with him being that way. The dad falling into that I thought was unconvincing and kind of dumb.
Okay, I don't agree with that point either because the dad doesn't fall completely into it.
there's a moment where he's pretty into it.
No. So douchebag guy says, "What if somebody here is in on it?"
Yeah.
Right?
And this
And
is all fake and blah 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 blah.
right, and the dad acknowledges that like this isn't all fake, but what if somebody is on in on it? Let
He seems like he's pretty much believing it's all fake also, and wanting
no,
to test out if it's all
no.
just
He
a
very much establishes that he
psychological
doesn't believe it's
experiment.
all fake. Right? His question is like, let's uh, do the scientific method. He's an engineer, and let's find out. Right? And very much when douchebag guy crosses the line, he's like, "Whoa, this is not what we talked about at all, and I am not okay with this," right? And I think that Donna, that character, explained it flawlessly when she got mad at the dad because she's like, "I've seen this guy before. You do this kind of thing, and this is what he does," right? He takes your nugget of an idea and blows it way out of proportion and does something wrong in reaction to it. And I was like, brilliant, right? I 100%
Yeah.
believe that the dad was like, hey, we have to follow the scientific method here. We have to really see what's going on. We're going to do this experiment where we're going to go out to the RV, but we're going to not cover the windows. We're going to observe, right? All of that was completely believable. And him having talked to somebody who A, knew his name, knew what he was doing in his basement, right? Of course he's gonna believe that this is some part of grander experiment that's being done on him. You know, that's what the science, that's what the evidence says right now. And he's
Why go to the RV? Like you've already had the option with going to the bus, and the bus already has a talisman in it, and you would be able to see more clearly. Why go to the RV?
because he wouldn't be observed by the other people at the RV like he would in the bus. And they
So there's
also
a little bit of a
established that,
separation there.
right? He doesn't want the people of the town knowing that he's doing an experiment on the people of the town.
So it wants a little bit more separation. That's fair.
Right? And they establish that. They're like, hey, I don't want Donna to know that we're doing this because if she does, their knowledge of this experiment can change the outcome if they are involved. Right? So I thought that it was very well done where the dad figure has an idea, the emotionally erotic douchebag character would take that and be like, well, what if they're in on it? What if you're in on it? We have to do this dramatic thing, right? Like, and him blowing it up because that's what highly emotionally unstable people would do, right? Do I wish that, like, do I think that the dad character might have done things a little differently? Sure, maybe a little bit, but I don't find it unbelievable that that character would say, "Yeah, let's go out to the RV and let's observe.
Okay.
Let's see what's going on." Really, right? I don't have any problem with that at all. And that character doing a lot, the douchebag character doing what he does makes sense to me too. Um, so there's that. The uh, fiance coming into town. Um, Originally, I was with you. Kind of feels stupid, but as we were talking about via text, I no longer feel like it's random. I feel like these people are selected. So, would the universe or the runners of this experiment or whatever's going on select the fiance to introduce that chaos? Yeah, because it's very well established that like this is trying to take people to their breaking points.
Yeah.
So how do you break Kenny? You kill his dad, you take away his fiance, girlfriend person, and then you kill his mom and make him feel like I could have been there, right? So again, not something I'm mad at all either. Right? They established pre her arriving that she had a drug problem. Her arriving, she has a drug problem. Like,
Did you feel like while she was there, it was a little over dramatic? Because honestly, I agree with what you're saying. Where if there is a selection, that selection makes sense. I'm actually okay with that. Their interactions together felt a little overly dramatic during the show, and not that. Actually, I like the character. I like the drug abuse problem. I think it's an interesting aspect of the show and worked really well with the ballerina scenes. I just felt like their interactions were a little too over the top.
I don't think so because
Okay.
of what they're all dealing with. But you also have the two sides of fiance girl is brand new to this situation and dealing with a drug problem, and doctor girl is dealing with the I had literally just committed to Kenny, and I have to take that away because my fiance showed up, and I don't know what to do with that. Right? Like, I had no problems with that whatsoever.
Okay.
As for tech guy, your last complaint, um, I don't have any problem with that either because he acknowledges that creepy guy has been here a long time, but it's completely believable that he wouldn't think about the probability that he still wouldn't want to leave.
I
Right?
think you would think
And
about the fact that this is his home. Like he's been there. He's been there for so long.
yeah,
No, I
but
don't buy
like,
that.
what about his other family? Like, tech guy doesn't know what his other family is, or if he has any other family. Right? We know about mom. We know about
The sister.
sister.
I don't think
About his
anyone else
dad,
knows about sister, but he knows about sister. We don't know about dad. We have no idea.
grandparents, cousins, friends.
Don't know.
Right? Like, it's not like he had no life coming into this, and everybody he's ever known died when he got here. Like, I agree with you that yes, obviously this kid has been here for a very long time, and he has made it his home.
Yeah.
But it is believable to me that the tech guy wouldn't think far enough into it to think that this kid wouldn't want to leave. Right?
Maybe he just said things wrong. That could be possible. It could be a writing issue there.
No, I
Because I,
don't think it's a writing issue. I think the tech guy is saying, "Don't you want to go home?" But when he's meaning is, "Don't you want to get out of here?"
but
But in
wouldn't he
his
say
mind, he
that?
would say home because to him it's going home.
It's going home, where
Right?
it's
The
not to
tech
him.
guy, right? People miscommunicate all the time,
That's true. That
right?
does happen.
And I believe tech guy would use the word home. And I do believe that kid or creepy guy who's essentially got a sixth grade education and is still very much a kid because he's never matured, he's always been in this horrifying place where it's just been survival, would hear the word home and say, "This is my home." And not hear that what the tech guy is saying, "Don't you want to get out of here?" And I do believe that he wants to get out of here.
I don't even know if he wants to get out of there, to be honest. I get what you're saying. I think you're making
I
a
think
fair
he
point,
does. I
but
just don't think
I don't even know if he wants to get out of there.
he can think about what that looks like, right?
Yeah, I
Here
don't think
he
he can
knows
imagine it.
what
I don't
is
know.
going on, and he knows what it is, and he's lived here and he knows what to expect. He doesn't know what does getting out of here look like. How does he live? How does he get by? Who does he know? XYZ, whatever, right? But I think he still knows this place is horrifying, and I still would rather be in a good place than here. Right? He doesn't know what that looks like because all he's really experienced is
All he knows is this.
right.
He might not even really remember beforehand, or just think that. Actually, he doesn't remember. He specifically said that he shut down memories from earlier in his life, so he probably doesn't remember what it's like to not be there, like at all.
Yeah. So I can see that character, right? Let's talk hypothetically,
Yeah.
right? Hypothetically, they find the way out of there. I could see his character saying, "I'm going to stay." I could also see his character saying, "I'm going to leave. I'm going to take this chance, and I'm going to follow these people because I don't like it here." Right? But he doesn't know that out here isn't worse than here. Right? He doesn't have that association. So I find that interaction just totally fine and like believable too. Like I think the tech guy is actually the standout of season two. I think the
I
episode where they're holed up in the
agree.
dimer is the best episode of the show. Um,
I agree.
next complaint about nobody talking is a valid complaint, though it is part of the show. If that makes
Uh, I yeah, I don't. I get what you're saying, but people would talk, and I think that that's
But
dumb.
what if they didn't know to talk? Right, that's part of the show. Right, like I'm sitting here like at the beginning of season two. Why didn't you talk about the lighthouse? Why are you not talking about the lighthouse? Right,
Yeah,
and you talked about the kids chanting. Do you know what they're
yeah,
saying?
no,
Okay, it's made up for the show, but it means remember. So clearly something is messing with their memories, and they allude that with the cop when he does talk about the lighthouse, because he goes through this like, oh yeah, this happened. Oh yeah, this happened.
that's
Oh yeah, this
interesting.
happened, and then he does talk about the lighthouse. So there are times where I'm like, talk about what happened, right? When the cop first comes back and he says nothing about his experience really with his son, you would 100% talk about what happened with your son.
Yeah, and they would be
Like,
asking questions about what happened. Nobody asks
yeah,
questions.
well, the son does ask questions,
Not
and the dad goes,
some.
he very much is like, I'm hiding something, comment, right? And the son ends with like, fine, keep your secrets, that's fine, but just like be present, be back, right? Like, and then he walks out of the jail, right? Um, yeah, talk about what happened to you, and talk about the guy you interacted with, and talk about the fact that he said your blood is my blood, and all those things that you do remember. But like at the same time, there's a lot of memory shenanigans that is playing a part in the show.
That's a good point because I thought that with the ballerina stuff too. I'm like, you're seeing all this ballerina stuff. You're hearing the sound. Other people are hearing the sound. And you didn't happen to mention that you went to this dungeon where there was a ballerina sound, and now everybody else is hearing it. Why are you not saying anything?
Oh yeah, see, so my complaints about season two are specifically around that, because he doesn't say anything. People start experiencing it. People start hearing that children's primary rhyme, and Kenny doesn't go, I literally just had a dream. I know the rest of this. And instead, they walk around and talk to 10 other people like, what's going on here? What's the ending of this rhyme? I've never heard of it before. And Kenny's walking around with them, and I'm like, you had a dream where they did
Yeah.
it, and you've talked about the dream, and you know it, and like, okay, like there is some problems there. I 100% agree with you. There's some problems in season two. Uh, I just don't agree with what they are. I have different ones.
Okay. That's totally fine, man. I do still like season two. I think season three really needs to have some answer of some kind, like an actual answer. It doesn't need to answer everything, but I need a answer to something. I really, really liked the way this season ended. I think this season ender is better than season one. Um, very cool season end with her waking up in the hospital. Very interested in that. But we didn't really get like any answers. We just got more hypotheticals, and an actual answer would be good for the show
Yeah,
at this point.
yeah.
Have you watched season three at this
I'm
point
two
or no?
episodes in.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I kind of know what happens with the hospital. Um, And what happens with the hospital and with her kind of leads into why I think it's not random,
Okay.
why I think that people are selected.
Interesting. I hope we get some kind of answer. I think there needs to be something in season 3. I think there needs to be an answer. Otherwise, the show kind of feels draggy.
Well, we're gonna find out.
We'll see.
I'll watch season 3 eventually. Um, so where are you sitting with the show in general? Where are you at with it?
For me, it really, really depends on what they do with season 3, because season 2 had some rough stuff, but overall still enjoyable. But I felt like, okay, we're not figuring out anything, and nobody's talking, so nobody can figure out anything. And yes, the killing of one of the vampire things, whatever the heck they are, was cool. That's awesome. And I like how it led to a even nastier bad guy, but we still have literally no answers. And one of the answers was, we're supposed to free these kids that are in the tower. And then she just gets pushed out of the tower and there's no answers. I just want a answer of some kind. Tech guy can figure it out. I don't care who figures it out. A answer, and then have that person tell other people about whatever answer they figure out.
Okay, but I'll reiterate my question. How are you feeling about the show as it stands right now?
As it stands, I'm still very interested. Still a good show. Not as good as season 1, because I had less issues with season 1.
Okay, so what's your hype level to start season
Um, 7.
3? So
I
are you gonna jump into it eventually? Are you okay with waiting for a little while?
I before the very last moment where she wakes up in the hospital, I was like, I would get to it when I get to it. That made me really interested and will be happy to start the next season. That aspect, because I thought that was really, really cool. What were you at when season 2 ended?
I immediately jumped into season 3.
Okay. And are you just basically waiting for me to catch up and that's why you haven't kept going?
And then other shows and stuff have happened, and
Okay.
like
Okay.
uh, we have 3 episodes this week, and basically all of my topics are movies because that's just what I've been on. Like I've only got one book to talk about, got 0 podcasts, just been watching movies. It's been kind of a
Sweet.
more movie week for me.
Kind of in a movie mood. All right. Well, maybe we'll watch season 3 this next week. I am interested in where it goes and I have my fingers crossed. I just really don't want the mystery to never be solved. I respect Severance for having a answer in season 2 so much, because most of these shows don't do that. And I like give
You
it
do have that
mad
answer in
respect.
season 2.
What answer is that?
Can you leave?
I guess you do have that answer. You do have that answer. That's good. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
There is a way out.
There is a way out. That is something. That makes me like that scene even more.
You also get an answer of, is the wife's voice real?
We know there's still so many questions behind that I don't really
Yeah,
know if
but it
that's an
was
answer.
real.
It was the wife's voice. May yes,
Do we know it was the wife? No, but do we know it was real and that it really talked to him and really told him
yes, we know
that? Yes,
something
we
is
do know that.
spiritually happening there of some kind. There is something. And it does lead credence to maybe dying is really the way to get out because she gets pushed out of a window and that's how she wakes up. So there is some possibility there of some kind.
Yeah.
That last scene was very good. It's very good.
Yeah.
What would you rate the two seasons?
Season one's like a 9.5 out of 10 for me, right?
Wow.
Because I absolutely loved season one. I was so into it. I was like I told you, like I had to force myself to stop watching the show. Season two clearly was not that, right? I didn't like finish season two and be like, oh, I better stop watching this so Conlon can catch up and so we can talk about it at the same time together, right?
Yeah.
It was good enough that I was like, okay, I'm jumping into season three. I don't need to wait. I don't need to whatever. But like, I'm 2 episodes in and have been since I finished season two. So it's just not like there for me. So like season two is like a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Right? Like it does feel a little bit more draggy. I do wish we were getting more pieces together. I get that the show is saying, "Hey, we're messing with their memories. That's why they're not talking about it." I just think it would be a better show without that aspect. Right? I wish that right you just had the characters talking to each other because you still don't know enough. Right? All you can really say is like, "Hey, I talked to cop's wife. I talked to cop's wife too," and it clearly was the same being because it had the same information. Right? Um, we still have no idea what's going on with that blood stuff. Um, we know that the bio bullets didn't work. Obviously, that wasn't going to work. Um, I actually loved the dying in your sleep thing and thought it was brilliant when Katie, whatever, um, was like, my brother feared locusts and
Yeah, I loved that.
killing this thing
I
made
did
our
love that.
nightmares. Maybe it's our nightmares that are creating this place, right?
I thought that was very cool.
That was so epic. And it's like, okay, maybe if you die, what you most fear becomes a problem for somebody else, which means these vampire things was just somebody else's worst nightmare.
Which is
And they
super cool.
conjured them
That's
up
very interesting.
by just dying, you know? Uh, super, super, super cool. Um, my letdown is like originally when the sleep thing starts happening, it is just happening to those who were present at the death of the thing. And I was like, oh, maybe that ties into it. Maybe because they saw the death or were in the proximity of the death or were like, it was aerosolized and they breathed something in that's making them experience it, right? But then it very quickly goes on beyond that. And I was like, okay, so now it's just the, it's no longer the death of this thing. It's clearly the world that they're in. So I felt like it was a little less specialized and took away from the significance of the death for me. Um, that kind of stuff. Stuff that I'm like, it's not bad, but I think it would be better if. But clearly,
If
I
yes.
also don't know the full thing that's going on, so I'm obviously not in the writers' room. So what do I know? Yeah. What about you?
Okay.
Season one? What was that for you?
It was an 8 and then a 7. I'm surprised that our season 2 is the same, to be honest, because I think I had a few more problems. But yeah, I would give it a 7. There's a lot
I
of
just I
positives to
wouldn't
it.
call them problems. I would just call them like enjoyment of the show. You just enjoyed the show less. Like you're calling it problems, and I'm saying it's not a problem. I just with season one, I was just on this edge of my seat the entire season and ended the season. I was like, oh man, I'm so excited to jump into season two. And with season two, it's more like there was a couple of moments like that, like with the diner, where I was just on the edge of my seat. But a lot of the time, it wasn't really that, and it was a lot more like, okay, we're starting to like get more complete characters. We're spending more time like with exposition and dialogue and that kind of thing. So obviously, we're not going to be at the edge of my seat as much. I just it's a natural part of storytelling, so it's natural that this is kind of a lull, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see. I'm excited for the next season. And go ahead, you can close it out.
All right. Thank you, anybody, for watching or listening. Thanks again for any subscribers who are subscribed to our content. Super appreciate it. Like, comment, let us know what you agree with, what you disagree with. From is it a good show? Is it tell us? Is it going to be another Lost situation? Are we just going to be forever getting mysteries to no answers situation? Um, Solo Leveling, is it the best anime of all time? Is it Lit RPG the show? Like, if you like Lit RPG, do you like the show? If you don't like Lit RPG, do you not like the show? Is it really correlated like it does in my mind? Um, Let us know what your guys' thoughts are. Uh, if you have any suggestions of things you want us to watch and talk about, let us know that too. Um, Thanks again.
See you guys.